In this lesson, we shall be moving on to the next property of operation. Remember, we are still on the real number system and we are on properties of operation on real numbers. In our previous lesson, we learned about the commutative property of addition and then the commutative property of multiplication. I believe you can state them and explain them. Now, before we start our lesson, let me ask you this very question. Now, in the course of performing calculation, if we group numbers differently, does it affect its outcome? In other words, if you have to pick three numbers from the set of real numbers and then we group them and then regroup them differently, does it affect the result or the outcome? To get answer to this very question, let's go through this activity. But remember, the operations that we do have in mathematics are, we have the addition, multiplication, subtraction, and then division. So what we are going to do is that we are going to pick three numbers from the set of real numbers and then we apply the operations on them to see if we group them differently, the result is going to be the same or not. So let's take it that we have 2, 3, and then 4. All these numbers are real numbers, right? Good. So we have 2, we are using the addition operation, plus 3 plus what? 4. Then we have the same 2 plus 3 plus what? 4. What we are going to do is that we are going to group the first two sets of numbers, 2 plus what? 3, and then group the last two sets of numbers. Then after that, we perform our arithmetic operation. So this plus this will give us 5 plus what? 4. Remember, we add those in the bracket first. Good. So we have 2 plus 3 plus 4 give us what? 7. 5 plus 4 give us 9. And then 2 plus 7 give us what? 9. So realize that the result on the left hand side is equal to the result on the right hand side. So it means that no matter how we group it differently, the result we are getting the same answer. Let's take another 3 set of numbers from the set of real numbers, right? So let's take it that we have 3.5 and then we have 4.5 and then let's take it that we have 2 because 3.5 and then 4.5 and 2, they are all real numbers, so we are picking that. We are still on the addition operations. We have 3.5 plus 4.5 plus 2. So we have the same 3.5 plus 4.5 plus 2. So what we are going to do is that we are going to group the first two sets of numbers and then we group the last two sets of numbers and then we perform our calculation to see if the result on the right hand side will be equal to the result on the left hand side. So we have 3.5 plus 4.5 will give us what? 8. Remember, we always add those in the parentheses first. Then we have plus 2. We have 3.5 plus 4.5 plus 2 give us what? 6.5. This will give us 10. This will give us what? 10. So realize that the result on the left hand side is equal to the result on the right hand side. So no matter how we group the numbers when adding them, the outcome is still going to be the same. Let's use the multiplication operation. So we are going to pick 3 numbers from the set of real numbers. So let's pick 2, 3, 2, 3, and then what? 4. So we have 2 times what? 3 times what? 4. Then we have 2 times what? 3 times 4. So we are going to group the first two sets of numbers. So we are going to group these two sets of numbers and then we group the last two sets of numbers, and then we multiply them to see if the result on the left hand side will be equal to the result on the right hand side. 2 times 3 will give us what? 6. Remember, we multiply those within the bracket first. So this will give us 6, and then we have 4. We have 2. This will give us what? 12. So this will give us 24, and this is also giving us 24. So we can see that the left hand side is equal to what? The right hand side. So no matter how we group the numbers differently, the result is still going to be the same. Now this property is called the associative property. It's called the associative property. Now the associative property says that no matter how we group numbers differently, when adding or multiplying them, the outcome or the result is still going to be the same. So under the associative property, we have associative property of addition and associative property of multiplication. Associative property of subtraction and division does not hold. We will come back to that. Okay. So the associative property of addition, it says that no matter how we group numbers differently, when adding them, the outcome is still going to be the same. So if A, B, and C belong to the set of real numbers or are from the real number system, then we can say that A plus B plus C is the same as A plus B plus C. Grouping the first two sets of numbers and then grouping the last. So an example is, if you have to pick three numbers, so let's say 5, 6, and then 2. They all come from the real number system. Then we can say that 5 plus 6 plus 2 is the same as 5 plus 6 plus 2, grouping the last two sets of numbers. So we have this will give us 11. We always do those within the bracket first. 6 plus 2 give us 8. So this one will give us 13, right? And this will also give us 13. So the result on the left hand side is equal to the result on the right hand side. And this property is called the associative property of addition. Now let's look at the associative property of multiplication. Now it says that no matter how we group numbers differently when multiplying them, the outcomes are still going to be the same. So if we have to pick three numbers from the set of real numbers, so if A, B, and C belongs to the real number system, then we can say that A times B, A times B times C, grouping the first two sets of numbers, is the same as A times B times C, grouping the last two sets of numbers. An example is, let's say we have 2, 3, and then 6. They all come from the real number system. Then we can say that 2 times 3 times 6 is the same as what? 2 times 3 times 6, grouping the first two sets of numbers and then the last two sets of numbers. We always do or perform the calculation within the bracket first. We always multiply those within the bracket first. So this will give us 6. This will give us 18. This will give us 36. This will give us 36. So the result on the left hand side will be always equal to the result on the right hand side. and this property is called the associative property of multiplication. Now, associative property of subtraction and division does not hold. Let's take some two examples on that to verify or prove that. So we are still going to pick three numbers from the set of real numbers. So let's pick 2, 4, and then what? 6, right? Any number at all from the real number system will satisfy that. So we are using the subtraction operation. So we are going to get 2 minus what? 4 minus 6. We are grouping the first two sets of numbers. Then we have 2 minus 4 minus 6. We are grouping the last two sets of numbers. We always subtract those within the bracket first. 2 minus 4 will give us minus 2. Then we have what? Minus 6, right? We have 2 minus 4 minus 6 will give us minus 2. Minus 2 minus 6 will give us minus 2, and this one also give us what? 4. So realize that minus 8 is not equal to 4. That is why we are saying that associative property of subtraction does not hold. Let's look at that of the division. So we are still going to pick three numbers from the set of real numbers. So we have 2 divided by 4 divided by what? 6. Then we have 2 divided by 4 divided by 6. So we are going to do the first two sets of numbers. So you always start with those within the parentheses first. 2 divided by 4 will give us 1 over 2, right? Divided by 6. So we have 2 divided by, this will give us 2 over 3. So half divided by 6 will give us 1 over what? 12 is equal to, this will give us, I think 3, right? So 3. So realize that the left hand side is not equal to what? The right hand side. So associative property does not hold for division and subtraction. So that is that. See you tomorrow. Bye bye.